Hi guys, it's Evelyn from Twin Flames 3344. I have a Divine Masculine Twin Flame read for you, but before I get into that, I just wanted to touch base quickly. Yesterday, something came across my feed that I happened to open. It was a reading from Awakening to Spirit that a lot of other people apparently saw as well. And I wanted to bring it up there because some of the things that she brought up in that Libra read, she'd brought up Aborigines and possible rape and things like that, and also about children's schools or minorities who had been malplaced, like their land taking or their community taken from them. And that was yesterday that I saw that, and I had received some information to look up some stuff that was similar to that early in the morning yesterday. So yeah, like 1 o'clock in the morning before yesterday when I saw her stuff. So I did want to bring that up really quick because a couple things it brought up. It brought up Penn State and Jerry Sandusky for me, and also brought up pet abuse I was getting. But the stuff that I was called to look up was because you know I used to work at University of Penn, so for some reason I was getting, and this was at 1:30 in the morning from the 27th to the 28th, so it was actually July 28th. I was getting witches interfering in meditation and being on guard to block them for the masculine. And also then Invasion of Normandy was coming up. So a lot of this has to do with wounds that we still need to clear here. The war that never ends, so that can relate to the masculine. Once it's over, like I've been talking about recently, the PTSD, now that the war is over, now what? Like the confusion sometimes is worse than the actual war. So also I was getting family giving attention to dogs, like over the people. So it can literally have to do with pets and animals. Like someone liking their dogs better than their children, but it also can have to do with people referenced as the dogs, right? The bad ones, not the good ones. So a father particularly, could be an emperor, liking the children who are bad as opposed to the good ones because the bad ones are doing what they tell them to do, but now the masculine no longer caring. But then I was getting, like, there's this one card that I see that always reminds me of Penn, where I used to work, and had to do with, it's in the Ten of Pentacles card, you know, can be families, anything that has big money, legacy, anything like that assigned to it with signage and things like that. I was getting patchwork in navy and red coming up, traditional patriarchy stuff. And then I was all of a sudden getting the people that have been buried by that, all right? So it's not specific to any one institution, but the people who have died because of the big families, big institutions, whatever it is, the things, the backs of the people that they've been built on, you know, built on a graveyard. So I was literally getting something built on a graveyard, still standing after burying many. And then I was getting something affiliated. There's the Greek cemetery, because there's a museum at Penn. The Greek cemetery came up. And then I looked up the history of that area to see what was going on. And there definitely was a whole black community pushed out of there in West Philadelphia in order for them to build, you know, a school for probably rich white kids or something like that. But that was back, let's see, 1677, William Warner bought, also this has to do with the Indians, because 1677, William Warner bought 1,500 acres from a local Indian tribe, and that's Penn, where the whole Penn campus is right now, and Penn Hospital, all that stuff, and named it Blockley. And one of the buildings on the hospital campus is called Blockley Hall, which was a parish in England. That area, though, had a very bad reputation in the 19th century. It was ideal hangout for shadowy characters and evildoers. There's probably a lot of dead people buried around there who crossed the river in skiffs or scoffs, whatever, after a thieving or smuggling job south of the city. So like South Philadelphia, anything, the element there would have come across the river to dump all the crap in West Philadelphia, right where the Penn area is. In 1850, and this is all from en.m.wikipedia.org, In 1850, hazardous area to be abroad alone, like so you weren't supposed to be there, especially at night. Blockley Almshouse came up, as well as later that became Philadelphia General Hospital. And Blockley, that whole area, was actually founded 5 years before Philadelphia was founded. And then it became West Philadelphia. So University City was developed, that name, that logo, 1950s by two Penn graduates. Spring Garden through University Avenue, Cedar Park, Garden Court, Spruce Hill, Squirrel Hill, Powhatan Village, Walnut Hill, and Woodland Terrace, and also Streetcar Suburb Historic District. And so Streetcar Named Desire comes up here too, because obviously if there was an element there in the 1800s, then there was definitely a lot of desire going on and a lot of broken hearts and dead people, okay? So that was what I was getting, it was referring to, but definitely crossing, you know, all the things that were coming up for me, like Penn State and Jerry, like I brought up. There's definitely a lot of boys, other than the ones brought out in the case, that were affected by this, and this was going back, you know, way before the boys in this case that, you know, that were already tried happened. You know, that a lot of boys were affected before that didn't come out. So that is definitely coming up. There was also a lot of horse trading in that West Philadelphia areas and pubs and things like that. So the horses are coming up, and how many horses may have been abused back then. So a lot, like, I'm bringing these up because it came up for obviously some masculines that were connecting to that Libra video that she put out. And then it was just so strange that I got to look up that area. That's not something I would normally do, to see like what happened there. So there's Indian burial ground there because it used to be the land of the Indians, so they buried their dead there. So there's a lot of dead people under there, and I don't know which areas they're under. Obviously, you know, they're not there anymore. But, you know, so there might be a lot of negative energy around all that stuff. And in addition to that, all of the huge money projects that, you know, were built on the backs of the small people who were pushed out of there, or literally pushed out of jobs or killed back then. So, you know, there's a lot of wounding around the families and institutions, establishments that have a lot of big money that own a lot of things. Okay, so that comes up with ownership and slavery. So these are the wounds coming up again. Again, that video is Awakening to Spirit if you want to check it out. It just happened to come up on my feed yesterday, so I just happened to look at it. She had, again, brought up Aborigines, rape, and also, you know, minorities being pushed out of their communities. So I literally brought all those things up before I actually saw her video. So, but the pet abuse was coming up too, so that means horses and dogs specifically were coming up there. And now I'm going to get right into the read. There's a lot to cover here. Cover story was just coming up. The day is July 29, 2019. The day adds up to 48-3. The 29 is the 3 of Wands. And that's all about, for me now, you know, everyone thinks of it as waiting for their ship to come in, because it's like going to the next level in your workplace. But for me, with the journey, it's much about staying present, you know, not looking toward the outcome, just enjoying your present moment, you know, and staying at 0 point. So it's being present to the beauty that's around you now, so that you don't get in your head and then get all ungrounded, okay? And then the day adding up to the 48-3 is more about grounding, because the 8 of Cups is about walking away and going within when things don't resonate with you, or things get too heated, or you know what I mean. Any uncomfortable feelings or fights, that kind of stuff. But so it's a very more inward day, staying present and going within, taking a walk in the mountains, or taking a jog, working out, any of that kind of stuff to help yourself stay present and grounded. Meditation, of course, salt baths, all that kind of thing. But just staying still for a moment, you know, and just doing your deep breath work. Sometimes it just takes a few minutes to center yourself again. Step outside in your bare feet to connect with the ground, all of those kind of things, okay? So the read took me on another whole journey this morning, amazing. I slept really well last night because I hadn't slept at all the night before. I didn't even try. I just never went to bed for some reason. And I was guided to, I definitely Friday and Saturday night felt like my twin was drinking because I felt all woozy, or doing whatever they were doing, but that was coming up for me. The read today was finished at 11:33 for the Divine Masculine. The major arcana were Indigo, which is like the Magician, Emperor, Ascension, which is like the World, and then after the read came up Luna, which is the Moon, Guidance, which is the Hierophant, and then the Hanging Man, which is like the Hanged Man. There was 1 Pentacle, 2 Swords, 3 Cups, and 2 Wands. So mostly Cups, which is all about emotions, so the masculine's feeling their feelings, which is good. And then the court cards were Page of Pentacles and the King of Cups. And that was it for today, of the court cards. Page of Pentacles and the King of Cups. So that can very much represent a father and son relationship. So more, I'm not thinking so much the masculine and his kids, but rather him and his father. But it can be both. So it doesn't have to be father and son. It can be father and any kids. But for the masculine, father and his father. Okay, for the King of Cups. And there can be drinking involved too. The King of Cups was coming up reversed in this read, which can be emotional detachment, manipulation, but it also can just be someone who's got addictions. Water signs tend to have more addictive tendencies. So that was coming up. And then the Page of Pentacles was upright, being the good student. So you can see the difficulty in that dynamic where there was a student or a child who always really wanted to do well and please their parent, and then the parent who's either emotionally detached or an alcoholic or whatever issues or codependencies they had. Okay, so there were triple 3s in the read today, as well as the sequence 3, 4, 5, 9, 10, begin again, and that was it for the numbers. The message was all around spiritual partnerships, completion, and abundance. And remember, abundance is the clearance of the body, so purging any physical wounding from the body, as well as etheric wounding. The message was kind of cool today. The show of power for I, or self, joy and coming together, and supporting ET. But I was getting specifically, it can be extraterrestrials, but I was getting literally aliens, like human aliens, not alien aliens, but people who are foreign to your country, considered aliens. That some of the masculines may be married to aliens just to have gotten them their green card, so that was coming up, or vice versa. But it was referring specifically here to the karmic feminine, and referring also that they don't, if they do dabble in voodoo and all that kind of stuff, they may not be grounding right, and even if they can ground to the earth, they cannot ground to the central sun, was what I was getting. So this was very interesting about also about Pi coming up, and the connection to Pi. And Pi for me being that circle with the line through it. So the circle for me is the human embodiment of Source. The line through it means the centering of the masculine and feminine. So if you can't center your masculine and feminine and you're polarized like a 3D person would be, you can't ground to the central sun, was what I'm getting. And many R is the symbol for the central sun. Like the P is like the safety pin illustration that I gave you, having to do with Pi. And then so the difference between the P and the R is that tail, or that connection to the central sun. So it's basically connecting Pi, or your centered self, to the central sun in the etheric realms. Okay, knowing that you already know how to ground yourself, because we always get the T for toggling and grounding to the earth, or Gaia. So none, also I was getting none for I, 3 for love, feelings and emotions, that half of 2 are the twins, right, when you're apart. The power of 4, the I of 3 in celebration. So you see with the numbers here where they're kind of leaning toward. The power of 4, the I in 3 celebrating, but only half of 2, 3 is not grounded to 3D. So it's saying you need, in order to really truly be grounded, you need the 4. Okay, and so that's they're expanding for me on the Trinity energy as a human, because Trinity works in the etheric realms, but not so much for multidimensional humans. living on this earth. That when you're only half of two, because you're twins, in other words, toggling up to the central sun is like the fourth leg that you need to toggle not just to the center of the earth, but to the central sun and come together as two, with the third energy being that connection to the central sun automatically, okay? So the power of 4 is stability in home. With I, there is joy, or 3, but half of 2 needs, or the twins need to toggle up. It needs a house to ground to Gaia, okay? So that relates back to my safety pin again, because the housing was the head of the pin, whereas our connection was the other end of the pin, the 2 circles that come together in a pin, and then the sharp part that comes out and in is the connection, right? Out and in, coming back to our closed circuit between the 2 twins, and then the pin opens when all the energy's been used up by the masculine for the feminine to connect to the central sun again for more energy, okay, and then bring it around again. So it's connecting new information to what I already taught you about that safety pin. So also getting there, again, the support of alien, of the karmic feminine. So for some, they are aliens. And that can reference to draconians or lizards, or, you know, that kind of energy. That they can't connect to the central sun, was what I'm getting. That they're ungrounded. So if they're dabbling, it's ungrounded dabbling in the etheric realms. So I'll have to expand on that. But so even if they have some intuitive abilities, it's not the same as the twins. So you need to be aware of that. So once your vibration is staying above 4D, it's not an issue for the twins, because they can't affect you above 4D anymore. So the 3D people who are still polarized are not centered like the pie, okay? They're still polarized. The divine masculine, divine feminine are centered with the twins. So that is the difference, right? We're forgetting that other humans are still going to be very polarized when we're not. That's considered the 3D energy, right? So polarized is very much black and white. So now they were leading me in a whole nother rant, okay? So they were giving me definitions for the numbers in regarding what we were just talking about. In the 3D, it's very polarized. It's very black and white. 1 is the masculine, but 2 balances with the feminine, okay? So the masculine comes in raw, right, with just that raw energy, able to manifest, but it's just random, right? It's that very focused, selfish energy. They need the 2 of the feminine to balance them, okay, which is what the twins are doing. They're balancing the masculine and feminine. The 3 then socially expands, whereas the 1 expanded on a personal level to the 2 of the feminine. 3 socially expands to see the gray area, and thus needs the 4 in order to ground. Okay, and so that has to do with the home, the stable home base. Now adding color as opposed to the gray. 5 expands to the world, or to see more dark, whereas before we were looking at gray. Now you've expanded to be able to have the grounding and know-how to see more of the dark. Grounding with loving family and community adds the spark of the light. Then 7, each odd number you notice expands, and then we go back to the even. So the 7 expands to spirituality, to see nothingness. And it needs the 8 to ground and center and dance, the divine masculine, divine feminine dance within the whole chakra system, the connection to heaven and earth, the 5D and the 3D. So that's, you know, literally what we're experiencing. And then 9 expands to a new timeline, or putting away the old, and needing 10 to open the new door. to, to go onto a new track or new shift, to walk through, and then center and ground into it. Then the 11 is the higher love of all galaxies and new dimensions, right? Galactic existence. The 12 grounds to the central sun as well, multidimensional existence. And then it goes on. So then 13 was coming up as the infinity, right? Because 12 is the end of the cycle, but 13 is infinity because the cycle really never ends. It's God trying to perpetually expand infinity and beyond. So 13 is the infinity, the next door, and I just got confirmation on my phone there. 3 is infinity, the next door, the unknown. All right, so we go through the 12 cycle, and then we get to 13, which is just infinity and beyond. And I was getting the 13, and I hadn't gotten infinity and beyond earlier when I was doing this, but the 13, if you put it together, is a B. So I was getting that symbolic for 13B. I was getting beta. I was also getting the girls' believe and the boys' curiosity. It's always about those two things. Beta came up as well. So the infinity or the 13, the infinity and beyond, so 8 is infinity, but 13 is infinity and beyond, becomes a B, B for beta, and that the girls believe, and in the boys' curiosity. Okay? Then I was also getting some more symbology about the other numbers. Since 13 was B, 14 comes up as H, which then takes us back to 8 again, but it's the 14 of the angels. And you know, I was talking about the H and the 8 being the same. So that was symbolic. And then the 15 can be God, but it also can be, because it could be the G of God, but those upper numbers were getting more into being symbolic of other things like pi and the Eye of Horus, and there's other things that I may not know, the butterfly effect, or the more about the pineal gland, just the butterfly in the brain in addition to that. So different symbologies. I was getting 17 as a hangman, or some of them looked like the G or C clefs, and then of course 15 can be the money sign. And 18, again, that infinity, so I was getting connection again there. Infinity is the 8, or 18 is the 8 with the line through the middle of it. So there's different symbols. Let me know if there's anything that you pick up from that. I wasn't real clear on the teens yet, but I was definitely clear on the 1 through 12 for sure, and the 13. So getting right into this read in relation to that, and by the way, K, I was getting 10 as K, the energy, and 11 as the I, right? So you put two ones together, you get the I, but I'm getting the capital I as opposed to the lower case I, which is the chakra system. So 11 is the I, which is the collective consciousness, connection to Christ consciousness, and the 10 of the K, of the energy system, the higher vibration, okay, which makes sense. Okay, so getting into the read, this here is the Wounded Warrior. This is another 9, the 9 of orbs, which is swords, and then the 10 of swords. So getting rid of all the crap. You see it's going behind, and then we have the Page of Pentacles on top. So the Wounded Warrior, or the Nai, the show of power, suffering with that 9 of orbs was upright, and the 10 of orbs were both upright today. Suffering the pain and betrayal, the endings, for a new opportunity to learn, research, examination, invitation, or a student of co-creation, coming together to create something new in the sun, the light, the energy, exposure, heat, to neutralize the opponent. The masculine sun gets the 9 of Pentacles, independent woman, to give up her independence for him, to share what she has with him. His high energy, his business know-how, his just general know-how, his manifestation abilities, his strength, worldly magnetism, and sunny disposition. And he shares that with her dowry, okay, which is the wound of the feminine dowry. Her dowry, her time, her energy, her nurturing, her sensuality, her know-how, beauty, family power, connection, and money. Okay, so that was another confirmation there for that stuff. And that then connects to what I was talking about of the big power families and institutions. Those who have a dowry can have the ones they love, but those who don't have money cannot, which is a huge wound. But this was also coming up in regards to the relationship of just coming together, because that will play into the polarization of the twins right when they come together. So you guys are integrating your masculine and feminine, and realize these descriptions of the masculine and feminine apply to both of you, because now you're becoming balanced masculine and feminine, whereas the 3D polarized people are still polarized in their masculine and feminine. So in a sense, what happens with the twins is right before union, they polarize to their extremes in order to come together in the 3D and then do the dance to work on centralizing or balancing again your masculine and feminine now between you and doing that dance. So remember that we all have both within, but we polarize when dating and looking for a mate because we're procreating children. That's your instinct, your animal. How you see your lineage to be. We turn the page and it's 12:35. The workplace re-energized by happiness for the masculine in no longer being single, in thoughts of not being single anymore, or some maybe getting married or thinking about getting married. Giving up some of your power, control, money, independence for love. You have learned to be sovereign so you don't forget who you are. That was confirmation there. You learn to be sovereign so you don't forget who you are. However, love surpasses all forms of control. It just is. You can't really live without it. I can't live if living is without you. I can't give, I can't live anymore, or whatever it is, the words. But that song was coming up, and then the Divine Masculine may have work success and happy energy and even happy kids in home, but there's sunny disposition and ego also. But if draining money, power, and independence, the masculine must find the piece that's missing. So it's coming up, even if he's being successful in his job right now, after going through dark night and rising again, finding the missing piece to his life, that even if he's succeeded in his dreams that he thought were always his dreams up till now, there's something still missing. Even when he's getting satisfaction of other things, there's a piece of him that's just not there and cut off. That which is dying, like nails and hair, require pruning, cutbacks to improve the growth. If you don't cut it out by the root, the entry point, it comes back with a vengeance. All right, so this applies to plants, but also to people. If you don't cut it out by the root, the dying or negative crap in your life, those who no longer resonate with you, or who are no longer for your highest good, if you are wussy about it and you don't really cut them off, they're going to come back with a vengeance, it's saying. If you don't cut it out by the root, just like a plant, the entry point, it comes back with a vengeance, which was just being shown to me because I had my guys pull out some vines that kept coming over from my neighbors, and they ended up cutting even more stuff back, which then the vines started growing back with a vengeance, and so now it's actually worse than before. So if you don't actually get them out by the roots, they will come back with a vengeance. The justice of the right choice, the right path, dealing with your own darkness before choosing left, or dealing with the old before you start something new. This is the repeating pattern, facing your own darkness. Sorry, I can't shut that off. Hold on. So dealing with the darkness, facing our own darkness before starting something new, right? So finishing up with the old before you go into something new. Isn't that what your parents always said? You can't have dessert until you finish your dinner. That going into the dark or the pain is the only way through to the light. And I got major connection there. Going through the dark or the pain is the only way through to the light, which you know. Offering self the gold coin or the Christ consciousness first, and then awakening to new ideas, the aha moment after sitting on it a while, to let it percolate, to rotate around to all the perspectives of the circle, all sides, all multidimensionalities, because in the 3D, you can't see the other side. All pieces of the pie need to be seen. sharing an equal distribution based on your own abilities and willingness to give of your talents. Do the things that you would do even if you don't get paid. That's how you know you truly love it. And you may be even obsessed to do it. And that's why we must learn to balance and self-care, to make sure you eat, drink, rest, and pay your bills on time so we can sustain doing what we love. The truth always sets you free and brings opportunities if you have faith in your truth and balance. Or in other words, that's justice. 12 plus 12 equals 24. I was getting 2/3 of the 66.66 in infinity forever. That the 36, because 24, if it's 2/3, is 2/3 of 36. 12, 24, 36. 36 is the whole pie, the physical labor, the 10 of wands. That labor pains is what produces a child, but working that hard at what you love is second nature. The pearl that becomes, after being stuck with the thorn in your side, your internal growth from learning what you don't like, that spurs you onward. To not be afraid to fail, for in what we fail is birthed the treasure, the accidental pregnancy that has birthed that special child that taught you love. And why aren't you loving you the way you love your child? Those brilliant ideas are what cause angels to fall, where angels fear to tread, or trend, I actually wrote by accident, because the truth is so powerful that others feel threatened by it, the fear of them having to expose it all, fearing judgment, jail time, shame, and guilt. 121 is the magician and the world. The magician, the one person facing the world, the whole, the judgment, the jail time, the shame, and guilt. Can you stand in front of the world and talk about what you want to do, your loves, or would you be ashamed of it? If you feel shame and guilt, then that shouldn't be a part of you. Or you need to learn how to get past the shame and guilt, because that's just fear, and you really shouldn't be feeling shame and guilt. Except if we all loved and supported each other and only decided on our own decisions and not others, or rather, we just go with the flow and do nothing unless we are inspired. Challenge being feeling justified in doing nothing, resting, sitting, lying down, relaxing, when society tells us not to, while others are running around stressing with anxiety issues and fear instead of being present in the moment of the beauty around you and loving every minute of it. Sexual energy is a gift. It's the quantum, and should be treated as such. Honor your body, your temple, as if you are the goddess and the gods that you are. One must show respect, honor, and love in order to get in. The only pass is knowing your worth until the other passes the test. The love of yourself must always come first. Keep neutralizing the situation until you are able to share with the one you love. Until both parties feel safe, grounded, healed, and ready to share, just like two kids on the playground. You fall down, you feel the boo-boo, you cry, you let it out, then allow the one who pushed you to give you a hand to get up and give you a kiss to make it all better. The mountain is the space between until you neutralize by first coming together at a distance, allowing the mountain to melt into molehills, and then pulling your eye skin down to show them your eyeball. Mole, digging in your green heels into the earth to make it real. Come together right now over me. Okay, so I was getting that song plus go there or come here. 135, the magician and the wounded warrior. Go there or come here. The mountain to the molehill, or Muhammad to the mountain. You can force the horse to the water, but you can't make it drink. So why would you go to someone who's not open to you, because you can't force them to make you drink or see you, when you need to allow them to come on their own accord to make their own decisions for themselves. So that's where the patience comes in, allowing someone to grow into their own authenticity and not feel pushed, because as I can imagine with myself and my twin, all the twins are very stubborn. They don't like to be pushed. They'll do anything for you if you allow them to, but as soon as you tell them they have to or you push them, they run the other way. So the Queen of Swords tells her truth of the twins and the kids and the loving connection and the beautiful memories of your twin, not talking about everything that your twin is wrong, what's wrong with them, but the beautiful memories and why you love them so much. There is no other way. You had to go through the dark to get through the 4D tunnel to get to the other side of it. In other words, you have to know your side. That you need to know you completely and authentically before you can tell a truthful autobiography. Insightful. Insightful. Your sight within is full. When you're able to write or just explain a truthful narrative about who you are as a person inside, your authenticity. The third eye clear for takeoff. Major Tom to ground control is ready to come home. Enough stress and suffering for a lifetime. Ready to take one piece of that at a time. Sorry guys. Enough stress and suffering for a lifetime. Ready to take one piece of that time. One piece of that at a time. Carefully and slowly. Softly, slowly. Hold me closer, tiny dancer. In 3 parts of how the other 7 got away with 5 leaving 2 behind. I'm going to say that again. The third eye is clear for takeoff. Major Tom to ground control is ready to come home. Enough stress and suffering for a lifetime. Ready to take one piece of that at a time. In 3 parts of how the other 7 got away with 5 leaving and 2 behind. The only thoughts that counted is me and my shadow strolling down the avenue. It takes a sword to know a sword, to live and die by the sword, to level up 5, floating on the air bed. The little one said, roll over. And this is at 144, the magician and the mastering, grounding, and integrating of the 4 of Cups and the boredom. And the little one said, roll over. So they all rolled over until they all fell out, except 2 sets of sneaky red boots becoming 1. 145 is the magician and the 5 of Cups, the grieving. The inability to let go of the 3rd baton, to get to the 4th leg of the race, to get home, to ground to the central sun, to just be home. And become 1. That's that number 4 that keeps coming up, the home. You know, your heart is your home, but in the 3D, the house is the home, the family that you want to make, that safety zone. The 4-legged creature that kept getting away with murder, bringing their sharp objects to bed, thus puncturing a hole and causing a leak of magnanimous proportion, a flood that leaked all through the house. Now remember, the house is your heart. It's also the house. It's also the world and the universe and the galaxy. They're all different levels of home, just like the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. I heard the news today, oh boy, about the thief in the night who stole my thoughts and dreams, except 2. And then I woke up. The guilt had been put all together, or the quilt. So guilt needs to come up there too. The quilt had been put all together when I woke up from this dream. Complete. There were no pieces missing. And the quilt had been keeping me warm the whole time. My Banky is me and my shadow strolling down the avenue, pitching a tent with 2 swords in the ground. The 9 that were rusty, the 2, 3, and 4, which adds up to 9, I gave to Goodwill if unable to sell, and 4 sold. And that could mean that someone sold their house. One man's trash, another's treasure. One man's treasure is another man's trash. Silver is fool's gold because it tarnishes over time. Even if you seal it, you still always know it's not gold. No matter how hard you try to make it look like gold, it never will be. When it comes time to sell it, you get nothing for it. You deserve love, divine masculines. The card below that was calling in your soulmate. You are, because now as you clear yourself, you are clearing yourself for the fact that you deserve love. Hush, little baby, don't say a word. Mama's going to buy you a mockingbird. When the kids are babies, we're already buying our kids love. Think about those words. Hush, little baby, don't say a word. Mama's going to buy you a mockingbird. We're already conditioning them to needing things to be happy. No promises to set value on love. It is invaluable. There is no proper exchange, and it is free to all. Being silenced and left out in the cold is a thing of the past. Now rest in meditation, olive and blueberry branches, allowing the branches, the ivy, the grapevines to go out on a limb. Allow it all. Anything less than that is fear and not love. Or to limp, to neutralize twisted pillars. Nature loving them too. After all, even the ones who are bad, they are still God's children. Nature knows no prejudice. It only knows forgiveness. When you try to push away nature, it just keeps coming back until you remove the root cause. The habit, the pattern, is natural until you remove the root cause and then plant something new. You have to put something new in its place because then there's an empty space. Make sure to fill the empty space with what you want, otherwise the dark may choose for you. And fill that empty space. You fill that empty space with only beautiful love and diamond rainbow light. The hermit's been over isolating and ready to come out and play, offering new love with a cherry on top. Just make sure it's gold and not silver, because after all, you all know that silver is second place, not first. Even if failed, and even if that silver cup is filled with fluff, is it what you love best? You know, even if it looks like it's really good, is it really what you wanted? Right, in the bulk of it, the heart of the matter. Even if it can hold, you know, all that good dessert that you like, is the silver cup actually what you love? Is that what you love? Stand up for yourself to others. Stake the high ground. Don't stoop down to their level if others are lowballing or displaying their low vibration. That was at 213, which is the High Priestess and the Death or Transition card. Stay even keel. Stay balanced at center, 0 point, neutral. Stay on an even keel and neutralize again and again until you neutralize your opponent completely and they become your friend. Don't concede until it makes you both happy. Then there's no concession or no need to break. The pie in the window isn't the same as pie in the sky. It's all in what you believe. While satin sheets may be white satin sheets, Nights in White Satin was coming up again. But while white satin sheets, they may be too close to Satan, get ruined too easily. Make sure things make sense to you. But too many sensitivities make you unable to function properly. The gray areas need color. These are the places we meet easily to fill in each other's lines or boundaries or empty or gray spaces. To share your color, whether you like coloring in the defined space or drawing outside the lines, make sure to leave room for both human angels, because you are both human and not. Hold on loosely to really feel each other without letting little lizards come between you. You come first. You are each other's support system, the filling station. Put the mask on you both before giving to children. Power up fully before using the phone and phone home. Check in regularly so they know you're still there to avoid feeling clingy. The less you demand, the less outcomes you seek, the more comes naturally to have what you seek. Don't get turned around when the ex shows up with humble pie or trying to show off, get in between you. Again, neutralize. Don't go back or look back. There's nothing there for you. They may goad you on because they think they know you, but they know you're dark, not your true north, your light. Once the dark is exposed, it can't go back to that dark again. It comes up to the consciousness to be released, and then it's gone. Follow your dreams, masculines, your number 85, and beneath that is your health. So unless you have your health, how are you going to follow your dreams? Health is number 71, which is that 3 of Pentacles, which can relate to overworking. If you work for the rest of your life and you work 80 hours a week, how are you ever going to follow your dreams? Because you're going to die before you get a chance to do it. Be loving to all, your authentic self. If the X grow in their own light, support their achievements. Just be sure of the boundaries that they can't cross in your union, because you two come first. Justice, truth, and balance, and leading the way. Good example brings attention. So keep ego in check and leave time for attention to you, yourself. Go within, go away on vacation, and sometimes we need to detach completely for the mess to get cleaned up all on its own. Powerlessness is power. Knowing when the ships leave, another always comes in if you allow and are patient. Retrogrades allow you to review and clean up, make repairs to clear the path forward, not backward. You've already been there before. Let sleeping dogs lie and superficial winds blow by. Stay in the middle by the water and nature. So it was 240 when I turned the page. That's the High Priestess and the Page of Cups, which is that pure, authentic, gentle, beautiful love. So you're going to ground, it said to ground, stay in the middle by water and by nature, far from the pirates and dark birds. That's another dimension than yours. Multi-dimensional being, existing amongst 3D and a 5D world, with abilities beyond and outside those lines. Present to opportunity of the truth, that you deserve love, divine masculines, and protection, and divine feminines as well. Remember, you are both divine masculine and divine feminine. You both deserve love and to feel protected by your other and to follow your dreams and be healthy together. Before I go into in the recent past, I'm going to tell you the court cards and the signs, and then I'm going to show you the board. So of the signs, Emperor, well, first the Emperor and the Empress. Emperor was upright, Empress was reversed today. Libra was fully upright, Virgo fully reversed, Sagittarius upright, Pisces upright, Leo upright and reversed, as well as Cancer upright and reversed, Aquarius upright and reversed, Aries was just upright, Gemini just reversed, Scorpio just reversed, Capricorn just reversed, and Taurus upright and reversed. Of the aces, they were all upright except the Ace of Wands. All of the kings were down today, so masculines are struggling today. Of the queens, the only one that was upright was the Queen of Swords. Okay? So all the kings and queens were down today except for the Queen of Swords. So speak your truth, feminines, and that feminine within you, masculines. Of the knights, the only one that was upright was the Knight of Wands. All right? So that's out and about getting errands done. Of the pages, the only one that was reversed was the Page of Wands. So all the other pages were upright. So rely on your kids today. They're a good source of love. Of the tens, the only 10 card that was upright was the 10 of Swords. The others were all reversed. And of the fives, they were all upright except for the 5 of Wands. That was reversed, which is good because that means the physical fighting and battles are over. Okay, but 3 aces were upright today, guys. That's great. I'm going to show you the cards now, and then we're going to go on with that. All right. So we have the Page of Pentacles, or the Seeker of Crystals in the Syrian Starseed deck here. And those 3 cards beneath that I showed you was the Wounded Warrior and the 9 and 10 of Orbs or Swords. And you have the truth here, that Ace of Swords is upright. The Lovers you can see is reversed. And the Hanged Man there is awakened as well, okay? The recent past is that 3 of Orbs or 3 of Swords, and that's reversed, people healing. The foundation is the 5 of Orbs. That's the enemy card. It's your fear. You know, it's when you're having a war within. That's what's grounding everybody today, and that was upright. So your fears are coming in today, so you definitely may feel that, because I was definitely feeling it. The center of the reed is the indigo, which is like the magician, and that card is reversed, so insecurities are up, and that's why you have the fear there and here, because your insecurities are coming in, because you're not grounded or centered. The challenge being the third party, the gossip, and the other overindulgence and stuff with the Three of Cups. They're reversed. The Emperor's upright up here, and then we bridge, and you also have this underlying energies over here. The Three of Wands was upright there, but it's reversed in the rest of the read. As we scroll over here along the bridge to go to the near future card, we have the King of Cups, but he's also reversed. Then we have the Masculine, how he sees himself is the World, which is upright. So he feels complete. So he's doing well, mastering his insecurities, but it looks like others around him may be triggering him because of their fears. So we have a whole lot. You see there's two sections of Romance Angel cards that really came out, 4 and 4. And there goes the 4 again. So the first 4 may be one group of people, and the second 4 another group of people. Okay? And then we have the energies around the Masculine is that 4 of Cups, which was reversed, so starting over in love, not settling anymore for second place. And then the things we need to clear is that 3 of Flames, or 3 of Wands, which was reversed in the bulk of the read. As we get up here to the ending cards, we have the 10 of Wands, which was reversed, so definitely confessions and dropping burdens coming up, with the Moon upright, so indicating at night or the full moon coming up. And then the Hierophant card, which is guidance in this deck. But you see it's next to the Ace of Cups and the Ace of Swords, so really powerful and beautiful there. The commitments to yourself and to each other as twins. And then we have the Hanging Man, which is reversed today, which means the awakened or the idea. No more looking at all the different viewpoints, because you've figured out what you need to see. So then we end up there on the High Priestess, and then the little sidebar there. And now we're going to get back into the rest of the read. All right, so I was just getting the day the Earth stood still for some reason. I don't know why. Sorry, my nose is running a little bit. All right, so recently for the Divine Masculine, there's the 3 of Swords. As I told you, it was reversed. Lightning strikes, but you're in as opposed to out. The King of Wands rushes in to the Knight of Swords, who could be, it's a Knight of Swords reversed and Queen of Cups reversed. So it could be him rushing into an abusive female to give him a piece of his own mind. Okay? Or it can just be someone who's also giving him the silent treatment because she's just been so sad and depressed, as the Queen of Cups reversed. So it can be 2 different scenarios, and that it depends where you are, and it depends. It can be the feminine or the karmic, or it can be someone else in his life too. But it is the Knight of Wands rushing in, okay? And that doesn't have to be the masculine either. It could be somebody else. But it's the Knight of Wands rushing in on behalf of the Emperor, who's detoxing. So he may have been in a lot of chaos, but finally detoxing all of whatever he needs to detox. Either him or someone on his behalf rushing in to this Knight of Swords reversed and the Queen of Cups reversed, who could be the Divine Feminine, who's been silenced by him and just very sad that he wouldn't talk to her. And the Knight rushing in to tell her about the Emperor detoxing to heal, or giving someone a piece of their mind. Either way, and it can be both as well. But present to opportunity to triumph over their ego, the masculine, and not run away. The foundation is the enemy, the juggling, the fear, around and around, walking away and within, just to go back and be jealous again. Okay? So some of the fears of the masculine is, will he be able to sustain being this higher level person? Okay? So centrally is the Magician reverse, that insecurity, the feeling they don't have the tools. And that can be literally too. They could just feel like they don't have the tools to even manifest. So it could be a business thing. They could feel they don't have the tools emotionally or physically, or it could be in business that they don't have the tools, literally, in the aftermath of the King of Pentacles reversed, which can be just ungroundedness of the King of Pentacles, or it can be someone who's very greedy, whether that's him or someone else. The King of Pentacles can also just have lost money and status recently. So it doesn't necessarily mean they're a greedy person, But either way, the King of Pentacles reversed, and him feeling this way in the aftermath, the insecurities, the ungroundedness, the loss of money and status, as a message of love actually helps heal him. Or new love, or a young child, or a Pisces child may come to offer him some love. It can definitely be the messages from the Divine Feminine helping to heal the masculine, while in a loveless relationship, aligning with the energy just doesn't work. All about the money in the world, or all of the money in the world, won't make you happy without love. You won't have emotional fulfillment. The challenge being the Three of Cups reversed, the third party, gossip, overindulgences, being antisocial, resting, meditating, and being celibate, perhaps. So masculine may think he has to be celibate in order to come into union. Dropping the burdens, confessing to God, or at confession. So the masculines, some of them may definitely be going to confession at church, or just confessing in their own way, or confessing to their marriage, or their priest, or their religious leader, in some way, awake to the peace that they found behind truth and balance, or the justice system. Telling the karmic or another that this relationship is all business. There's no love, in order for him to find peace within himself, a new life that may even be staged and ready-made for him. Passion and friend all in one, expressing feelings back and forth, and yet the masculine recognizing that he wasn't a very good friend to her. So focused on how much money he had and lying about his feelings, a disease, or a mental status, and figuring life would be all about saving enough money, being antisocial and stubborn to keep his freedom and not have to ever work again. Now for the masculine is crowning, the Emperor, with clingy Queen of Wands reversed and Page of Wands reversed, which can be two separate people or one. If it's two separate people, it's a mother and child most likely, or it can just be her threatening suicide to keep him, or just lots of temper tantrums and lack of inspiration, a need for constant excitement, or else she threatens you. And this can be the karmic of the masculine, or the Emperor is defenseless to a near-death experience, not expressing feelings to delay the inevitable, and be present to a dark ship of Viking manipulation to disarm that hovers around the divine masculine, an island unto himself, to keep him from leaving the island. He is grounded and she travels wherever she wants. So just imagine an island with the masculine on it and the karmic on the Viking ship circling around the island. She's free to do whatever she wants, but no matter what she does, he's stuck on the island, because otherwise she threatens to kill herself or threatens to out him on something. It's all very awful and a prison for him. The King of Wands reversed, defenseless and thus arrogant, or finding when he's tired of being angry all the time and defenseless, all of a sudden he feels happy, all alone when she's not there. Free from verbal abuse, or the Empress at work. He used to feel free, at least at one place in his life, but now nothing is working. Work or home, nothing is working out. He is unable to have peace while longing for the past, for his twin. And that's at 4:15. 4 is the Emperor and 15 is the devil, or just codependencies and addictions. So grieving the past, his twin with a gold coin, passion and stubborn like him, don't push me. Frustrated King of Swords reversed, because he's not being himself, he's not being authentic. And remember, saying don't push me and not being able to just speak with your words is a childish behavior, right? What do the kids do on the playground? They have a temper tantrum if they don't get their way. Or if someone pushes you, you push back and you say, don't push me. I'm only going to do if I want to do it. I don't have to do it if you say so, right? So it's a childish behavior that we all have. So synchronicities all point to the third party refusing to make a move without reciprocation. So this is the Divine Feminine no longer reaching out, whether it's 5D or 3D, because the masculine ignored them and didn't reciprocate. It wasn't balanced, and it made them cry and have pain. It made them very sad and feel very hurt, because they couldn't get out of their prison, because they're connected whether he wants to connect or not. You are connected, and the feminine couldn't escape that prison. So the masculine had to be put in a prison of his own by the karmic in order for there to be reciprocity there. So the synchronicities set him free, unable to wake up from this dream. And the karmic isn't it. And I've left the divine feminine crying alone to suffer the consequences of loving me so she can feel me with other people. It's time to end the pain and suffering. And this is coming from the divine masculine. So soon as the King of Cups reversed, choosing left in a weak moment, not because she told me to, but because I decided. Leo ego out of control, and this can be both ways. This can be him seeing a moment of weakness as actually letting the divine feminine in, because he's letting himself be weak. He's letting himself be out of control or powerless because he realizes that that's where the power is. But then his ego may snap him back all of a sudden, so he may make snap decisions that are bad ones. So Leo ego is out of control. Whether the masculine's offering love to the wrong person or not could also be, but he also could be offering love to the divine feminine. So it's different groups of people, so it's going to be different for everyone. The prisoner or hostage, but either way, don't let it take you down. If you need to purge because something really hurts you, do it by all means. But know then afterward that it's all part of the plan. The prisoner or hostage is unable to share due to chaos, no vehicle, others running roughshod over them. So this is the masculine recognizing his own prison and the prison of the divine feminine. The prisoner has no rights to share, express, or travel unless from within. So no one can make you a prisoner unless you let them, unless you're a twin. The King of Cups reversed emotionally detaches to deliberate, but causes him to be stuck at the Y in the road or the fork in the road, never-ending circle. Now the Hermit reversed comes out to reap his just desert, refusing to work or move and express passions or fly around or go ziplining perhaps. The King of Pentacles reversed and the Queen of Swords is doing all the talking, and the Queen of Cups is reversed, refusing to move or work or not speak, or move or work, spreading the word or gossip to flush the Hermit out of hiding or to get them out of bed or out of protesting. Because they're saying, I won't do it, right? Because they don't want to be told what to do. So it's about growing up and using your words instead of, just protesting or throwing a temper tantrum. So the Queen of Cups reversed can again be the karmic or the feminine who's refusing. The Queen of Swords is coming up. She's the only queen that's upright here, but the Queen of Swords is doing all the talking. And the Queen of Cups reversed, refusing to move or work. And it doesn't necessarily even mean that she's refusing. Maybe she doesn't have to move or work. Spreading the word, or it can be conceived as gossip too, especially if it's karmic, to flush the Hermit out of hiding or get them out of bed or out of protesting and just talk. Grow up and be an adult and talk. The divine masculine is complete. He's seeing himself as complete, coming full circle, taking the world by the hand as opposed to the balls. The patient angel, not working, needing to heal the pain of betrayal, ending, or just being still, refusing to work or move until someone removes the swords from his back for a change. So instead of him helping others and always being there for others, for someone to come to him and give him a massage or take the swords out of his back for a change instead of him doing all the work. So that's him to his karmics and family, but then he's done the same to the divine feminine. So there is the karma or the balanced retribution, okay? So the dysfunctional family or loss of family, money, or legacy, and grieving, the masculine, the loss, the sadness, the regret, shame, or guilt, whatever he's feeling, and clinging to the third baton, not seeing the gold right there if we just only turn around and look anywhere. Look where you don't usually look. Look down at your feet. If you can't find something, just turn around. Total eclipse of the heart. Deception came up for the masculine as well as passion, codependencies, and chemistry. And you see how they alternate there from the deception and the masked person to the passion to then codependency of someone that you don't really like, and then chemistry again. So you may have a physical chemistry with your karmic, but there's no love there. Or you can have no chemistry with the karmic and just have a stable home together. So you see how this works. Then there's the masculine may not trust chemistry because that may have gotten him into hot water before. So as intense as the chemistry is between the masculine and feminine, it may really scare the masculine because having that sexual chemistry has never gotten him to a good place before. But it's about, being friends first, knowing each other, loving each other, and treating yourself like a temple as opposed to just letting someone in right away. The heart-to-heart conversations and stay optimistic. This could be the one. Well, it actually came up, heart-to-heart conversations. This could be the one, stay optimistic, and yes, it is worth waiting for. So like I said, there could be two groups of people here, or all 8 of them could apply to the same person. Around the Divine Masculine, or how he is seen, the 4 of Cups reversed, no longer wishing on a star. Destiny rolls in to take offers away from those who offered love but chose to ignore it. The Empress reversed and the Queen of Pentacles are reversed together, lackluster. They are totally ungrounded or greedy. Some of them may have the rug pulled right out from beneath them to start over in love, to no longer settle for half-assed love, or it's a mother ill and a sister doing all the work, taking care of them, like the brother's not helping, and that definitely happened with me and my sister. The sisters always end up doing all the work when your parents get ill. Or mother and daughter not sharing, even though they both have plenty, all right? So that was at 444. So that was important. Even though the mother and daughter, like they're not talking to each other, they got their backs to each other, even though they both have plenty, this is just showing you an example. It's not about putting them down for having something. There's nothing wrong with having wealth and abundance. That's actually where you're going. But the point is, even though they have everything they need in a material sense, they can't, there's no love there. So they're unhappy, right? They can't cross the bridge because they're both being stubborn, or they're just don't resonate with each other, but because they're mother and daughter, they're stuck with each other. Or it can be a Taurus woman who's greedy and lack, or someone who's had a miscarriage with a friend taking care of you, but there's still they're not getting any compensation for it. So they're doing it even though they don't want to. So there's nothing wrong with doing for no compensation if it resonates with you because it's really your friend. But if you're stuck with someone because people have made you feel guilty about it if you don't do it, then that is a problem, right? Because you're not getting compensated and you think you should be, because it's not really something you want to do. Or 2 lazy women with everything, refusing to help themselves, no longer bored due to choices now being made for them because they refuse to make them. The blocks, so that could be women too who wanted to marry a rich man so they would never ever have to work, but now realizing in hindsight, because they did that, the masculine had all the power and got to make all the choices. So the masculine needs to clear blocks of looking back or going back to the past for more information or to get clear about the present, clearly putting you back in the same old patterns, the holding patterns, of performing or being fake instead of being authentic and real. The number cards that came up were abundance and completion and spiritual partnership, but even more so forgiveness and communication, that there needs to be adult communication and forgiveness between you. The wounded warrior giving up the battle for their wounds and looking back and going back to defend what he's been through. Dumping the burdens to get to the light. Offering a new life without needing attention for it. Doing it because you love it and you resonate with it being the right thing, not because someone else made you feel pushed into it. To help those in need, and not because it makes you look good, but because it resonates with you. Not giving out of guilt or because others tell you it's the right thing, but because it makes you feel good, connecting with those experiencing something you've been through before. Not forcing others to accept your charity either. Just give it out there. If others want it, they'll reach out on their own. Telling the truth about your own pain and betrayal is cathartic. It helps you both at the same time. Spreading the word, freeing self in the process, patiently taking one step at a time, and clinging to life instead now of clinging to death. Meeting angels in near-death experience. Not time to go yet. Here's your authentic gold coin. So when you met angels in a near-death experience, so someone literally may have met angels when they had a near-death experience, or just meeting other angels like yourself in the near-death dark night experience, it wasn't time to go yet. So here's your authentic gold coin that you received in that near-death. Now go have fun with it. So after all of the fake you was taken down and apart, you were given the gold coin again for a fresh start, to go out and have fun with it. Only go back if you're going for the girl, to bring her back to join you in the new world. Flaming romance under the moon. Maybe only one dog under control, but he's actually wagging his tail. And that could be tail in both ways. Looks like he's licking someone's face behind the insecurities. Possibly, and that could be physically, like the security guards, insecurities. Looks, and it could be securities too, like the stock market and stuff. Looks like he's licking someone's face behind in securities. So it could be licking someone's face and behind in securities, right? Licking their ass because he's insecure about the finances. Possibly a little manipulation, but very awake, offering truth for love. A commitment to love, to end the pain of truth with a message of love. Sagittarius, Scorpio, Aries, Cancer, and Taurus and Capricorn were all came up clustered right at the end there. Ending the fight, the conflict at home, by illuminating insecurities and manipulations, holding on loosely and grounding third-party gossip and overindulgences, and being antisocial and standing up instead to others. Speaking your truth like an adult without reacting instead of losing your temper. Just speak your truth, that's all. Connecting to the rest, or connecting to rest, meditate, and the 5D, surrendering to the world, to the sealed divine feminine. The divine masculine surrenders to the high priestess and or his own secrets and abilities. Completed the cycle, the dreams of expressing feelings with an opportunity to learn and discover, but guarding celibacy with his life. Or a child with dreams, or an exchange student, but the divine masculine is worried about defending her affections or her sex life. So again, now that the masculine is learning to respect his own temple, he could be actually implementing that and also implementing that on behalf of his own child. But this also could be an over-doting father, so it goes both ways, because it could be someone afraid to let their college-age child go into another country, which we certainly understand the concern of that, but they have to now let them live their own lives and make their own choices, if they can afford it, and if they're, if they're going to be reasonably safe. If you know as a child who makes terrible choices still at that age, that's something you have to work out. So they may reach out to the high priestess for advice. So masculine may actually reach out to some readers for advice, or could actually be, the high priestess can be the karmic or the feminine, because it can be a karmic who likes to dabble in intuitive stuff, but it also actually can be the feminine. So it's hard to tell which one sometimes, but she's definitely upright in her power, and that's also Pisces energy. And it looks like the masculine could actually want to reach out to a psychic for advice. Make sure it's not someone your karmic recommended, because then they probably fixed it. But you may reach out to a high priestess for advice on his own sex life or on a child. But the masculine being very on guard, of course, standing as truth and not trusting that. Or the Aquarius wants to travel and be a student again, very guarded due to no affection in their life. Or a Gemini is at war with self after being a child star and no affection. Aquarius and Gemini energies and dreams of being a star on attack to those at the top of their chosen field, defensive but wanting to ask them questions on how to get ahead. So again, this could be children as well. And this is all coming from that little sidebar, so it wasn't formally part of the full read. But this could be what's going on the side of the masculine that you don't know about. But the Pisces comes out on top, Gemini not. The opportunity to stand in their truth to the world, to end a cycle and start over in love, healing insecurities, challenged by third parties, overindulgences, gossips, antisocial behavior, emotionally detached King of Cups reversed, looking back or going back to an emperor or going back to his old ways, but now confessing or dropping his burdens at the full moon committed to truth and love and their awakening. Opportunity to heal is present for the masculine. But that Three of Wands flipped, so where he's present 1 minute, he may be going back to the past another. But there's an opportunity to heal at present, afraid due to the insecurities of the Emperor or about being the Emperor and challenged by gossip over indulgences or being reclusive. So he may be scared of the temptation that's always around him in his life. And coming into the Divine Feminine, will he still have to deal with the same temptations, and will he be able to resist? Complete but emotionally detached, starting over in love, afraid to slip back into old ways, confessing letting go of burdens at the full moon, or to shed light on commitments, sharing truth and love to awaken more fully together and without abilities. Or excuse me, with their abilities. Sharing truth and love to awaken more fully together along with their abilities and without. So the main theme of the read was about the insecurities, and that can be physical ones too. Just not having the tools can mean they don't have the tools they need to start their business over, but it can be their own inner tools as well, causing manipulations. The challenge being is all around addictions and gossip, third parties, right? That's the challenge. The block is the past. Juggling 2 or more people, or juggling work and family, and afraid his whole issue is if he stops doing so much and keeping his life full, that he'll fall over and never get back up again. When he starts thinking and remembering, he feels like this could take him down. He'd never be able to be strong again and make it through his life, right? So that's why he feels every moment of his waking hours. So he's not stuck with what's in his head, and that can have to do with childhood abuse or any other kind of abuse that happened to him in his life that took him down so hard that he wasn't able to ever recover. Okay, that's the disconnect. All right, we're at 116. I can pull a couple extra cards for you. Let's see what comes up. I'm just going to go with the Rider-Waite. I'll have to do a oracle card read for you one of these days. I haven't done that in a while. It's not as popular as this one. So I like doing the oracle cards because that's when the really channeled messages come through when I deal with the past life deck or the Journey of Blood. But I may open something in Patreon, you know, to try to drum up a little bit of income here, okay? So let's see what happens. So we have the Rider-Waite deck here. For everyone watching, the best and highest good of all is concerned. It is July 29th today, 2019. What is it we need to learn? Mother, Father, Christos, Sophia. What is it that we need to learn? Love. What is it we need to learn? What are some final messages for everyone watching? Take a deep breath, guys. Oh, a whole chunk fell out. Let's see where that goes. I have to show you in pieces though, because too many cards to show all together, but I will show it to you in a minute. Let me see. Yeah, that's all that's coming out. The chunk and then one card. The bottom of the deck is the Queen of Pentacles reversed. Let's see what's underneath. We have the Temperance card, the Ten of Cups, and then the Nine of Swords, which definitely was the underlying energy of this read. So there may be some jealousy and sincerity back here. See, this is after everything was exposed, so we'll start from here. Everything was exposed, and because of the exposure, then that brings out the jealousies, which also needs to be exposed, and the suffering, the purging, the staying up late at night, and then the reset after you let the purge out and how you feel all better. Oh, I'm happy again. Maybe spending some time with family, the people who really love you, who do still resonate with you, and feeling better. All right, being the angel that you are and taking a step at a time, even if you sometimes become ungrounded, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with the Queen of Pentacles. This very much represents the Divine Feminine when she just gets pushed out of grounding. Okay, when you get ungrounded, that's when you don't make good decisions, you get confused, and that's time to meditate or walk to center yourself again so you feel good, and so you make good decisions. And get your rest. If you're not getting enough rest, you know, you get ungrounded, all that stuff. Don't forget, if you're not sleeping well, no wonder you don't feel good and you're feeling like crying. Okay, so the first cards that were coming out here is the Hierophant, the Seven of Wands upright, the Eight of Cups reversed, and then the Three of Swords reversed, which they were all like this in the read as well. So with the Hierophant, it's about the number one, the commitment to yourself and source, love, however you refer to God. And then we have the Seven of Wands, which is standing up for yourself without reacting and being defensive. This is to neutralize. You just stand strong. It's not about pushing into the fight, right, and getting into a fight. It's about drawing your line, keeping the high ground, not lowering yourself to other people's lower energies, but also stand your own ground. If it gets too much, it's time to walk away. The Eight of Cups, of course, reversed, is about working through the pain to get to the light, not trying to push it away or avoid it when you feel anxiety, but actually feeling into it and asking what it needs to feel loved, working through the pain, focusing your literal intent on whatever doesn't feel good in your body in order to allow it to disperse and feel better. And then we have the Three of Swords reversed, which is, that's what causes healing, which is good. Healing and forgiveness. And apologizing if you feel called to do so. So the next four cards that came out, let's see, or maybe I can get the rest of these out for you. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cards here. Okay. So the last cards here, the Two of Cups, the Ten of Swords reversed, so that's the worst is over, and that's allowing those swords, the masculine wanted out of his back, to come out. Maybe he needs to do it for himself. He doesn't need to rely on anyone because he can do it for himself, but that doesn't mean when he comes into union that he's not going to get support of his partner. Of course he will. There's love. Three of Wands. Staying present. The Empress reversed is in lack. This just can be a parent who's ill and old. And there's sometimes no way around that, okay? But this can just be being grounded as well. Just like the Queen of Pentacles reversed. And it's time to ground yourself again. Pick yourself up with friends, people who love you, things that you enjoy, anything you enjoy, or just watch a good movie, have ice cream, whatever makes you feel good and brings you back into your third energy. Meditate. And then the Six of Pentacles, of sharing with others what you've experienced. Okay, nothing helps you more than sharing with others. Being giving to others helps you stay in your high vibration and helps you both at the same time. So making that connection allows you to release all the pain. That's the bliss. The release of the knives from your back is the bliss. When you make your connection, okay, to your higher self and stay grounded, you go into bliss, the pain releases, and then you come out of it and you stay present. Okay, so when you get knocked off balance again, you either go within or you go to those who love you. Take a walk with them so you can ground in nature and ground with people who love you. Okay, and share your experience. And share money as well, but only with those things that resonate for you. Okay, so that's a really nice message. And we end though on the Ace of Pentacles reversed, which isn't negative at all. It's about the Ace of Pentacles being there at all. It's about magnetizing your gold coin and make sure you got it good. So you see how this is upside down? So if you don't have a good seal, it could drop. And that's the masculine's concern right now, that he's not so stable that he might not revert into his old ways. He needs to really make sure he's got a firm grip on that magnetization, okay, his gold coin, that he knows who he is and stays in that gold energy as opposed to the silver, okay? So that's very good. It's about getting himself ready for that new life, so he's ready, when he's really ready to make that offer, then he'll come out. So that's really positive, guys. All right. Make sure you drink your water, because that's the other reason why you won't feel good. If you get dehydrated, you're going to start feeling bad, and then you're going to go into negative energies. Get your rest. Eat well. Okay? You don't have to be perfect, but eat well. You know, do what you know makes your body feel good. Then go outside and enjoy yourself. Enjoy love. Enjoy your own time. And enjoy activities that you love to do and your children. And that's all there really is to it, you guys. You know that. It's just all about rising and being loved. Okay? Bye.